Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome everyone to World's Finest, the DC Comics Review, with me, Phil, and Tyler, of course.
Oh yeah, let's talk some DC.
Alright, and as you learned last week, as we always, we'll start with the Bat books, and this portion of World's Finest is brought to you by Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast, which Tyler and I host with Kelly. So, let's jump in. You said you got the last couple issues of Batman Eternal?
Yeah, like last week we went over Batman Eternal 44, and this week, of course, now we have Batman Eternal 45, so I'll jump right into it. 45 starts where Batman is being overcome by what seems like to be a bunch of ghosts.
Yes.
But it seems like these zombie-esque people that Batman's freaking out seeing, and Batwing is having the same issues. And even though have been reading the book and getting caught up, I still felt this was very kind of odd and out of place and just very interesting. Like Batwing is having, he's working with Corrigan, who we all know is a Spectre, on something. But the best part about this story is when we get into the fact that, spoiler, is what they're calling Stephanie Brown. Her and Bluebird's story, while Bluebird, an official her costume has come out and is going about trying to make a name for herself even when everyone else is against it. And Bluebird, of course, is Harper Row. And her and Stephanie Brown are against each other. And then we have Batman working with Penny, too, good old Alfred's daughter. And he's trying to piece together who's behind everything. And literally the last part of this book closes out when they're talking about everything and piecing together that it's Ra's al Ghul. And that Ra's al Ghul has been the one setting everything up. And that he's coming to Gotham. So, it was good. It's one of those books, Eternals, where there's so much going on, and you get such a little snippet each week of the bigger story. But when you sit down and you read it as, I think they're going for 60 books, and we're in book 45.
Yes.
But when you sit down and read it as an overall, I give this issue probably 3 out of 5. It's good. But it was just one of those, I don't want to say filler, but just kind of push the story a little bit farther. But I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I hear you there. It sometimes, I don't know, sometimes there seem like they're slow weeks, but just all the ghosts were, I forget, they were trying to, down in Arkham before it got destroyed, they were trying to resurrect Deacon Blackfire, is that his name?
Yeah.
And Batwing and Corrigan were there, that's why Batwing's seeing all the ghosts and stuff.
It's just really crazy, but sweet, but crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, we gave it a 3 out of 5. But the other Bat book I got, I guess you can call it a Bat book, was the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special.
How was that?
It was good. It was good. The Harley Quinn finds out that there's an auction to win a date for a night with millionaire Bruce Wayne. So, with the help of a friend, she steals $1 million from, you'd call them one of the, bankers, who, basically, give out the, bad mortgages, and they basically got away with a slap on the wrist.
Oh, yeah.
She basically steals $1 million from one of those guys to win the auction, to, win a date with Bruce Wayne, until he gets kidnapped by two, by two sea characters who want to, it's goofy. They want to build a habitat for sea creatures, and Bruce Wayne's like, I would have given you the money,
Kind of.
Because the
Harley Quinn run is just odd in itself.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it'll be good, and then other times it'll get plain goofy.
It'd be great if this whole run of her solo it's all in her head.
I don't know if this is a fair comparison. Sometimes I think of her as like the female DC version of Deadpool, somewhat.
Dude, I will side with that. She's not quite to his caliber, but I see where they're going with her, and I see it's in that same vein.
Yeah, they try to go with humor. They try to break the fourth wall sometimes.
Her cartoonish apparel, and just like, she doesn't seem like she's a good guy, a bad guy, or even an anti-hero. She's just there somewhere existing.
Yeah.
Having her own crazy adventures.
Yeah.
I kind of miss the old Harley.
From like the animated series Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She really doesn't even want to have much to do with the Joker. I think they're trying to make her more of an anti-hero.
Yeah, they're trying to give her own... She doesn't need the Joker to exist instead of only existing with the Joker.
Yeah, she's very popular right now, so I think they're trying to like pair her away from the homicidal maniac.
Which is weird, because but whatever.
Yes. Alright, well, what do I give that book? I think I'll give that another 3.
Okay.
Alright, so the next portion is the Flash Green Arrow review, and this portion is brought to you by the Flash Arrow Power Hour podcast, where you can hear me, Tyler, and that other guy, Zach. The Flashpoint and the Queen Consolidated podcast, and the Fast Talkers podcast. So, this week, I read Arrow Season 2.5, number 5. As I explained, I think, last week with the Flash one. I know it comes out digitally first, but I like to hold the hard copy in my hands.
Yeah.
And we see there's a new guy trying to take over for Baron Blood in Star City. Or maybe it's still Starling. But yeah. You remember in Season 2 of Arrow, Tyler, when Felicity and Diggle have to... I think it was like a bodyguard guy. They had to threaten him, and Felicity threatened him by... She's like, oh, I'm going to take away your pension and all this. And
yeah.
That guy is the new Baron Blood.
Interesting.
Yes.
See, I could see that. I would like to see that guy come out.
He's kind of like off his rocker now, so.
Let's see some more of these crazy characters like that. The ones that appear in like the 0.5 books, like I'd like to just see them fleshed out on the show. But that sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, the other big story is supposedly Oliver's stepfather's going to try to help him buy his company back.
Well,
but we haven't seen it. We haven't heard about this in Season 3, so I don't know how successful they're going to be.
Yeah, that's the hard part about this book, is like you're reading it, but it takes place between Season 2 and Season 3, and so many threads like that. For instance, we know that Palmer comes in and sweeps everyone off their feet and buys it up.
Yeah. And then the final, it's weird with the Arrow one, like every issue there's a Suicide Squad story too, but it's only 2 pages long.
Huh.
So it's going to take forever to get this story.
Well, if it's one worth telling, the backup stories are always a pain, especially when you become more interested in what the backup story is than the main story.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like, because it's a digital first, so if that has something to do with it.
Could be.
I'll give it 3.5 though.
Okay.
It's Arrow, and I'll try to jam this next one into the Arrow segment. It's Justice League United number 9, but Green Arrow's on the team, so I guess I'll try to jam this in here.
Alright.
Yeah, it's the team. Like I said, includes Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, Supergirl. And it's like a team. Their team teams up with the Legion of Superheroes, basically to try to stop this entity from destroying the universe. It was basically like a childlike alien until it was messed with, and blah blah blah.
You're like, yeah, this seems really cool, but none of this is gonna matter when Convergence hits.
Yeah, I don't know about Convergence. I don't know if they're gonna try to keep some stuff. I don't know. I'm just giving this issue a 2 because they seem, I don't know. The art's good, but they just seem to like drag these stories out.
Yeah, where you're like, wow, you spent 20 pages of just doing nothing, and then you spent 2 pages of giving me something, and now it's next issue.
Yeah, it's like 20 pages of, no, don't do that.
It's like an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I think the problem is they write for graphic novels anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, they know they're going to collect everything.
That's why there's some stories I like to just get the collected work and so.
Yeah. All right. So next, I'm gonna shoehorn this one in too because I want to mention that this portion of World's Finest is brought to you by the upcoming podcast, The Last Daughter of Krypton, the Supergirl podcast, hosted by Tyler.
Yep.
And rotating co-hosts. But this was Superman and Batman World's Finest, issue 31. This was the series that was originally Power Girl and Huntress, and now ever since they went back to Earth 2, they've been retelling the origin of the Earth 2 Batman and Superman.
See, I started reading a quick note. I started reading Earth 2, but like once I realized I didn't know much about it, but like once I realized like in the first issue, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are killed off, and then we get basically Golden Age heroes. I wasn't as interested, even though I know a version of Batman and Superman come back, and that it made sense to me because I always wondered how Power Girl existed in the New 52, but it's because she was pulled into a black hole. Her and that was it Batgirl or
Huntress?
Because she's Huntress and Power Girl in modern time. It was interesting.
Yeah, because they go into the origin. They even showed like the Huntress training because she's the daughter of Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle on Earth 2.
It was so.
And Power Girl's the Earth 2 Supergirl, so you can any coverage you want to give Power Girl, you can.
Yeah, I mean, Power Girl, like if you read Supergirl, I think it's volume 3. If you're looking at the graphic novels of Supergirl, it deals when Kara on Earth meets Power Girl, and that was a really great story. And I was trying to understand, but having the knowledge that Power Girl was sucked from Earth 2 and put here makes it a better story.
Yeah. So, let me see, what do I give this? It's Batman and Superman. I'll probably give it. Art was good, story was good. I mean, it's a multi-part story again, of course, but it's like from Lois's point of view because she's like telling like the last days of like Batman and Superman.
That's really cool. Sad, but cool.
Yeah, I'll give it 4 stars.
Alright.
Alright. And for the first time on the World's Finest, we can do the Constantine review because Constantine 22 came out this week, and this portion is brought to you by the Newcastle Crew and the Dangerous Habits podcast. But speaking of Earth 2, as we will, Constantine, this is like, I forget what part this is, 3, 4. He was like sucked into Earth 2, where he met his Earth 2 counterpart, who was living kind of a happy existence with like live parents, and I think he has a woman and friends who aren't dead.
That sounds like a good time.
Yes, it was until like at the end of the last issue. He was trying to pull them all off of Earth 2 because this is like Darkseid and all his forces are attacking, but he couldn't do the spell with him and the other John Constantine, so he killed the Earth 2 John Constantine. So now that guy's family's all mad at him.
Wow, what a douche.
And Dr. Fate's trying to like hitch a ride off Earth 2 also with them.
Interesting.
Yeah, Dr. Fate's trying to abandon ship.
I don't think anyone likes Earth 2.
Well, not when Darkseid and Apocalypse are attacking, no.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I get the Earth 2 book, but I don't get the weekly one, The World's End, so I'm probably missing half the story, but...
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to read Earth 2. It's not bad, it's just interesting.
Yeah, like I told you, I think last week, there's like 2 or 3 issues back, they did a Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon one where they were married on Earth 2. It was pretty interesting, and it was like a one and done, so...
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like Earth 2 is a missed opportunity for more stories, because it can be technically the only way of getting some Elseworld type stories, but...
Yeah, well, like we said, who knows what's coming after Convergence.
Hopefully not a huge reboot, but...
Never
what
know.
else we got, Phil?
Alright, so this is where we get to the, shall we call it the miscellaneous portion, anything that doesn't fit in the others. And this portion is brought to you by Channel 52, the DC podcast with Will Hellfire, Tyler, and is it Charlie?
Yep.
Yep. Alright, I got 2 for this section. First is Green Lantern Corps 39, where Jon Stewart and a bunch of some of the the alien Green Lanterns no one really knows about.
If it's not Kilowatt or Tom Array.
No. Yeah, they're on the home planet of one of the Green Lanterns, and there's like don't know if they're ghosts or demons are like attacking, and like the Green Lanterns are like trying to save the planet from these demon things. But get Green Lantern Corps while you can, because I believe maybe next month's the last month, whatever the month before Convergence is, that's like the last issue.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're not coming back with Green Lantern Corps or Green Lantern New Guardians. They're all after Convergence. I think they said the only one's going to be Green Lantern, and I think there's going to be a new Green Lantern Lost Army, maybe.
Interesting. I feel like the Green Lantern book, like, one thing I've liked about the book was they took all the Green Lanterns that we know, and they spread them out, making, like, Guy a Red Lantern, Kyle became a White Lantern.
Yes, the White Lantern, yes.
And, let's see, I think John stayed green, of course Hal, and, of course, Simon.
Yeah, because, like, the Green Lantern book's, like, kind of Hal's book, and the Green Lantern Corps is, like, John Stewart's book.
Yeah, it just kind of got crazy there for a while. I felt like too many of them going around.
Well, now there's like two for each sector, so now there's like 7,200 Green Lanterns.
That's really awesome. I mean, it makes more sense. I mean, think about it. They never had a Green Lantern on Earth until later, and by the time he showed up, how far along, like, you know, his sector, he had never been there. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I'll give that one 3 stars. But finally, I got the other weekly series, Future's End. Got issue 41. Brainiac's. It takes place 5 years from now, but Brainiac's attacking. And I guess they say in the New 52, any Brainiac we've seen up till now has just been like a drone sent by the real Brainiac. I
wondered, like, because we meet a Brainiac in Action Comics' first run. Because that's where he gets his suit, Clark gets his suit, and then Brainiac comes back during the Superman Doomed, and he was like a person, just like really different, so...
Yeah, it's just, I think they did that pre-New 52 too, it was like eventually they had a story with like the real, I think Jeff Johns brought in the real Brainiac, and it was like, oh, everything before this was just like him sending out probes, or...
So it's interesting.
Yeah, so... Yeah, 5 years from now, Superman's finally back. Superman's been missing for a while. Like I said last week, John Constantine got him back in the fight. He's trying to fight off Brainiac. But then, Hawkman also takes a swing at Brainiac.
Hawkman.
And when
savage.
Yeah, and when he does, there's like a big 2-page spread of like, they just show like different universes, so I'm thinking this is really gonna tie directly into Convergence.
Well, I always liked, I think it was I didn't read the Brainiac villains issue. I wish I had now. Darkseid, I remember when you found out that Darkseid was going to every world and killing the Superman of every world, which I thought was really interesting, and I want to pull that issue because you have that picture of him with all the dead Supermen, but yet it doesn't look like the different Superman of the 52 Earths that we've discussed for the upcoming Convergence, so... I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I'm a sucker for continuity being together, so.
Alright, and then after that, we get Batman and Tim Drake, because Tim Drake's not Red Robin anymore. Basically, I guess him and Batman must have some kind of falling out, but they're a Terrific tech. They want to see Mr. Terrific as Brother Eye. It seems like Brainiac and Brother Eye are going to hit at the same time.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, because in the future, Terry McGinnis came back from, like, most of the world had been turning like cyborgs and stuff, so I don't know if it's supposed to be like, is it Brainiac, is it Brother Eye, is it a combination of both?
It's Brainiac.
And then we only get like one panel, I guess we'll have to wait till next issue, but if Terry McGinnis is about to be attacked from behind, Brother Eye sent from Terry McGinnis' future, Brother Eye sent back, it's like a cyborg, but Brother Eye slapped together the Joker and Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Batman's trying to stop.
I like this Future's End. I just feel like it was spaced out too far. Like, you have so much else going on. Like, you just ended Forever Evil, which was 7 issues plus like the tie-in, and then all of a sudden we get Future's End, which is like 40 books. And then all the one-offs that tie into the individual series. And I just feel like, I don't know, like, it's just so much. They could have shortened it up maybe, like, and just made it like a 7, 10 book run or something.
But yeah. But did you see like the guy who looks like Superman with like it looks like he's wearing like a biker helmet or something?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, when Superman was missing, so they kept it a secret for the first couple weeks. They're like, oh, someone took Superman's place. You know, someone who could fly, he had super strength and all this.
Yeah, I read the Superman Futures End one shot. I really liked it.
Did they? I forget. Did they reveal who
Yeah.
Superman was? Okay. So I was
It
gonna say.
Spoilers. It's Shazam.
Yeah. If you read that issue or if you've been reading New 52, yeah, you know it's Shazam.
And I like that. I always liked the idea that Billy was inspired by, Superman. But I thought it was a really good issue. So.
Yeah, because even towards the end of this issue, it looks like maybe they're going to team up against Brainiac.
They should.
Yeah. So I guess I'll give that one. I'll give it 3.5. They're usually pretty good, the New 52s, but they never seem long enough. It seems like they have so many different storylines going on.
Exactly.
It's a weekly book. Give me one storyline each week. Don't try to cram all the storylines in every week.
Exactly.
Plus Brainiac's here. You need one story. Everyone fighting Brainiac.
I don't want to keep saying the same thing, but exactly.
No, he's live, people. I'm not hitting a button.
I don't, like I said, there's a lot going on. I would like to have gotten in on the, on the, Futures End, but I just felt like it was just a huge event that, I don't know, I feel like it's an event going on while other events are going on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. That's with the whole thing. I like continuity, and it's like, it just seems like DC always has so much stuff going on. It's like, well, where does this fit in?
Like we talked about, like with the single Batman run, and then, now with, Eternal, I'm like, where does Eternal play into the overall arc with, especially now that Damian's returned, like, and he's not there, and then, if you're reading Batman, I don't see Bluebird, in regular Batman right now, so.
Yeah. Well, Snyder doesn't like writing, or he said he can't write Damian, so who knows?
But I mean, even like a one-off line, like, Damian's doing this, like, just to acknowledge his existence.
Yeah. Alright, well, that was the books for this week. Well, the ones I got this week.
Yeah, of course, Phil and I, we love our DC, and there's a lot of books, and some of it's hard to keep up with, and next week, maybe, finally, I'll have more books to read, because I have a whole list of DC books I read, but just none of them came out this week, other than Eternal, so stay tuned for next week, and we'll have more books and more discussions, and listen to the podcast, listen to our discussions, chime in.
But before we go, you can email me at nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I'm at nightwingpdp. Tyler?
On Twitter, you find me at jtypatrick and jtypatrick@gmail. Also, next week, I'll be bringing a review of the new Superman Earth 1 Volume 3, along with recapping of Volumes 1 and 2.
So, any thoughts or any recommendations you want us to give you for books? Get a hold of us.
Yeah, and check out your local library. It's a great resource to find back issues of graphic novels and books just to jump back into comics.
Yes. So, until next week, I am Phil, your Batman of the world's finest.
And I am Tyler, your Superman of the world's finest.